Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Proverbs 22:6. Since my retirement from full-time employment is now well behind me, I have noticed that things I heard older people say when I was young have some relevance which I did not heretofore give any credence. They used to say that one becomes older and people think that you are irrelevant, and what you say is of no importance. What you are saying is because you are old. I am blessed with excellent hearing, but in a noisy shop or market I may mishear what is said, and when I do, I am suddenly spoken to, or rather shouted at, as if I am in my dotage and deaf as a post. When I talk about the lowering standards of education and the shocking behaviour of some of our children and young people, some may roll their eyes and say, "Here we go, it wasn't like this in my day." Whilst it may sound old-fashioned, repetitive and even boring, it remains the truth. When I hear about the appalling behaviour and vile language amongst even very young children as well as adolescents, I cannot help but think that the standards set by God in the Bible are as relevant today as they always were. What other reason can explain disrespect for parents, the police, and adults in general, violence against teachers, and increasingly criminal behaviour amongst the young, including murder? It is quite apparent that children are not to blame. They only mimic what their parents do, especially the very young. Parents in their turn blame teachers. I see mothers with their children going to and coming from school. The mother has her face glued to a mobile phone whilst the children walk behind. What does she look for in that small illuminated screen? It must be something that she doesn't have. But there is the rub. Social media is full of people posing, smiling for the camera. How happy they all appear. Our mum maybe wants some of that happiness. She looks at the phone, her children look at her. None receive satisfaction. We know all these things to be true, but no one seems to want to challenge the status quo. I saw a social experiment video recently where British teenagers were asked some questions like, name a continent, how many countries make up the United Kingdom, and so on. Needless to say, the resultant answers could only be described as pathetic. We are a mess. Our children have lower standards of education with tick box style examinations than has ever been. The prisons are overcrowded. Hostility amongst motorists is beyond belief. Drug and alcohol abuse and antisocial behaviour is on the increase, and all parents can do is stare at their mobile phones. Before I leave, I offer another old-fashioned quote. Whatever a man sows, that shall he also reap.